on 4.5 chapter. Okay, let's go. We're gonna look at the definitions of a rating scale. A rating scale is essentially a description of the behaviors, features, or characteristics of a performance which are referenced to point values that form a scale. That is typically a numerical range from low to high. And rating scales allows us to operationalize increasing levels of proficiency, ability, knowledge, and so on in a language. This relate to increasing levels to a numerical measures, and in much the same way that we put a numerical value on a measurement of a heat or temperature by using thermometer or thermostat. By using a rating scale, we can situate an individual performance in relations to the continuum of learning we have defined. Okay, and okay, there are two types of scales. The first is about analytic scales and holistic scales. Okay, we're gonna talk about the analytic scales first. Okay, so analytic scales, I'm sorry, that's a typo. Analytic scales identify specific features of a performance separated into categories on the rating scales. So an analytic scales resemble a grade with the criteria for a student's product list in the leftmost column, and with the level of performance list across to the top row, often using numbers and or descriptive tags. And the cells within the center of the rubric may be left blank or may contain descriptions of what the specified criteria look like for each level of performance. When scoring with an analytical rubric, each of the criteria is scored individually. And analytic scales identify specific features of performance separated into categories on the rating scales, and analytic scales are often preferable in assessment context because they provide so much more information to teachers and students about specific aspects of a performance that need attention or show development. For the examples, in analytical scales that was designed to evaluate students' performance, in an oral interview, we might have the categories for accuracy, for the example, grammar, pronunciations, vocabulary, comprehensibility, and contents. Okay. Okay, here are I show you about the advantages and disadvantages of analytic scales. We're gonna look about the advantages of analytic rubrics. The first is provide useful feedback on areas of strengths and weakness. And the second is about criterion can be weighed to reflect the relative importance of each dimensions. Okay. We're gonna look at the disadvantages now. Disadvantages of analytic rubrics. The first is takes more time to create and use than a holistic rubrics. So when we make analytic scales, that can take more times than rather than an holistic rubrics. And the second one is unless each point for each criterion is well defined, writers may not arrive at the same scores. Okay, something like that. And here are the examples of analytic of analytic skills. Here you can see there are consists of the table, so that will be more not mess up, something like that, not mess up. Here we can separate it by the column, like I have said before, like that. Okay, talking about the second types of scales. The second types of scales is holistic scales. So what is holistic scales? Holistic scales consists of a single scales with all criteria to be included in the evaluations being considered together. For the examples is our clarity, organizations, and mechanics. Okay, so the holistic rubrics. With holistic rubrics, the director assigns a single score that is usually from 1 to 4 or 1 to 6 points, something like that, based on overall judgment of the student's work. So if students' work is good, maybe the writer can get can give the scores about 3, 4, 5. Just look at the student's work, and the writer matches an entire piece of students' work to a single descriptions on the scales. So holistic scales rely on the general overall impressions of a writer. Writer considers a performance for the example is writing or speaking as a whole and relate their their impressions to a scale that provides a criterion reference descriptions that is linked to points. The writer doesn't consider specific features of the writing or speaking in holistic scales. And here are provide advantages and disadvantages of holistic scales. So holistic scales. Okay, on advantages of holistic rubrics, the first is emphasis on what the learner is able to demonstrate rather than what she or he cannot do. And the second is about can be applied consistently by trained writers, increasing reliability. And look at the disadvantages of holistic rubrics. The first is does not provide specific feedback for improvement because it is like a little bit messed up from analytical skills. We can see the example after this. And when students' work is at varying levels spanning at the criteria points, it can be difficult to select the single best description. So this is not bukan nilai yang pasti seperti itu. And the criteria cannot be weighed. Okay. And here are the examples of holistic rubrics. Okay. Oh. If analytical is separated by the columns and tables, for holistic rubrics is just like this. Okay. Thank you. Conclusion, we can conclude that the scales consists of two types. Actually, when I read on some article, there are three types of the scales, and the third one is about primary scales. But on the books, that is only two types of scales. The first is about holistics, and the second is about analytic. Holistic scales is usually used the result about 1 until 4 point or 1 until 6 points. And analytic scales evaluate students oral interview performance to know the student's accuracy, pronunciation, something like that. Okay, and my presentation is finished. Thank you for your nice attention and sorry for all my mistakes. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.